Hi, welcome to the tavern. Oh, that's my dog Wiley. I love dogs so much. Always grew up with them. In fact, I had a lot of different animals as pets. Fish, frogs, birds, hamsters, snakes, basically everything except a cat. Not because I don't like them, but my dad is allergic. After all that, though, I think blue-tongued skinks are one of, if not the best pet you can have. And that's what this video is about. I just didn't want this to be a pancake meme where people think I'm saying one animal is bad or not a good pet just because I like blue tongues. I love all animals. I just like this one a lot more specifically. Okay, so what even is a skink? Many lizards are vaguely classified by their shape. Geckos are gecko-shaped, monitors are monitor-shaped. Skinks generally have no neck and small legs. With the exception of the red-eyed crocodile skink, if you see a lizard with tiny legs, no neck, and a long body, there's a reasonable chance it's a skink. Specifically, this is my blue-tongued skink, Jojo. If you watch the main channel, you've probably seen him show up in some ads here and there. And he is one of the best pets out there. Let me tell you why. Lots of people who have reservations about lizards are worried about insects, which I'm sympathetic to. Many people don't want to deal with having a bunch of insects in their home. And you can buy them from the shop and just bring them in when you need, but the healthiest thing for your lizard is to breed your own roaches or crickets that you know you are feeding lots of fruits and veggies to so that those crickets or roaches have all the nutrients your lizard needs. Now, Jojo can eat live insects, and I have given him some in the past, but he doesn't need to. Blue tongues are scavengers. They're perfectly fine eating other things rather than live insects. I feed him these lizard sausages primarily. The sausages are made of Madagascar hissing cockroach and rabbit, plus a few other veggies. Those sausages are chopped up with other fresh vegetables like kale, arugula, or any of these other vegetables that they can eat, and then that's what he's fed. I'll link below to a list of all the things they can and can't eat. The main one being spinach. It's actually bad for a lot of reptiles. But the important part is I don't really have to deal with live insects, and Jojo is a very healthy lizard. Another great part about skinks is that they're very clean. For the most part, they stay within their tank. A lot of their day is spent warming up on the hot side of the tank when the lights come on. Being cold-blooded, they really need their morning routine of warming up before they do anything. And unlike other pets that go outside and can drag dirt into the house, Jojo never does that. Skinks, additionally, like most lizards, are fairly solitary animals. In the wild, they don't hang out with one another. And in a tank, you should never have more than one, unless it's breeding season and you actually know what you're doing. A lot of people don't know how lizards think. I remember seeing a post going viral for a bit where they showed what appears to be a male lizard going crazy about seeing a female one, which caused people to talk about how poorly that lizard was being treated because it had never seen a female before. Yeah, that's not how lizards think. The lizard is probably thinking that the human is bringing over food. Reptiles communicate mostly through body language, and this is the language of being excited about food. This is how I know Jojo is still very friendly, even though he doesn't care about other lizards. When he wants to come out of the tank, little buddy will come up to the tank and wait for me to pick him up. He loves to explore, soak up the sun, enjoys back scratches, he likes walks. I can put him on my shoulder and just wander around. He's never attacked anyone and enjoys meeting new people. Jojo does work on his own schedule though, and some days he simply burrows and doesn't want to hang out, which you just need to respect. It's like a cat. If they don't want to hang out with you, they'll scratch you and leave. Usually Jojo is less active when it's a little bit colder or more humid. I'm not going to get too deep into animal psychology here, and I can't really answer the question, does Jojo love me or not? But he does like to go on walks. He wants to be held, he wants to hang out on my lap on the couch. At the very least, he wants to spend time with me and enjoys it. I can tell it by his body language. For the most part, if he is looking around and flicking his tongue, that means he's happy and content. Handling a blue-tongued skink is pretty easy. All you need to do is support all of their legs, they don't like their legs to dangle, and never grab or pull the tail. It comes off only once though, and doesn't grow back. But other than that, he's really super chill and can just hang out for quite a while being pet. I feel like dealing with live insects and lizards technically not being social animals are some of the biggest problems people have with reptiles. So I really wanted to address those 2 points up front. Blue tongues really get around that. If you've ever had a different reptile like a snake, it is night and day comparing the two. Snakes act so differently, likely because they are a predator animal who operate in a very specific way. But a skink, being a scavenger, is naturally more likely to act differently, be more curious, want to wander around, look at things, interact with you. Maybe animal psychology could be another video on this channel. You'll have to subscribe and see if I end up making that video. I want to rapid fire a few other reasons why I think blue tongues make excellent pets. Being a larger lizard, they are fairly durable and not display only animals, which some lizards are. You can indeed handle your skink. They are not likely to be harmed by small changes in their environment and are sturdy enough that you can pick them up, put them down, and have them kind of do whatever. Jojo has fallen off the couch before or accidentally fallen over here and there, but he's pretty tanky. They're relatively tough little sausages. In fact, if you think about it, they live in some of the harshest conditions out there. The Australian outback is a pretty difficult environment to live in. So as long as you don't go too crazy and make sure their humidity and heat is correct, your lizard should be fine. Additionally, Jojo's lights are on a timer, plus his metabolism, being a lizard, is very slow. Which means if I need to go away for a weekend, Jojo is totally fine. He gets fed twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and the lights go on and off at the right time every day. So I can give him food on a Friday, leave, come back on Tuesday, and he's still chilling, just waiting for me to feed him again. Of course, this isn't ideal and I should be changing his water daily, but the point is, if needed, your lizard can be left alone for 24, 48, 72 hours without much issue. And if I'm gone for an extended period of time, it's easy to have someone swing by twice a week to just check on him, change his water, and feed him, and ultimately, he's still totally fine. This makes scheduling around your lizard way easier than a dog or cat. My dog has to have someone there to walk them multiple times a day or be fed multiple times a day, or she needs to go to a kennel if I'm going to be gone for a whole week. It's just a lot easier with a lizard. Blue tongues also come in a few varieties. Jojo is a northern Australian, which means he is built for more dry and arid environments, which is perfect for California. But you could also get an Indonesian blue tongue, which are very similar, but they want a more humid environment. Perfect for someone who lives in a more humid area. One tricky part of reptile keeping is getting their environment right. It can be done anywhere, but if your local weather is more humid, then it's easier to keep the tank humid, and vice versa. So with blue tongues, you can just get the one that matches the humidity level where you live, and it'll make taking care of that lizard much simpler. Cost is another place where reptiles are pretty good. 90% of the cost is going to be the initial setup of buying the lizard and the tank, which can be pricey. Jojo was almost $600 when I got him, although the prices have gone down. I'll talk about that in a moment. But for him, I can buy a year's worth of these sausages for about $80. I mean, he only eats 2 of them a week, so it takes a while before he actually gets through all these. Veggies are normal things I can buy from the grocery store. I can buy organic bok choy, make that for myself for dinner, and just save a small portion for Jojo. Same with arugula or kale. So I'm not really spending a ton of extra money actually getting him food. And then every month I buy mulch to clear out his entire tank for a deep clean. And sometimes the lights do go out and the bulbs need to get replaced. But other than those and an annual checkup, those are all of the recurring costs. Sometimes I buy new funny things for his tank or treats for him, but ultimately it's fairly cheap to keep this lizard month to month. Another cool thing about blue tongues specifically is their life expectancy. My issue with a lot of awesome reptiles like chameleons is that they just don't last too long. Assuming I take good care of little buddy here, he should live to be 15 or even 20 years. Now, just like any other animal, skinks can have different personalities. They might like different foods, or be differing levels of adventurous, or different levels of friendly. Jojo here hates kale, but likes dandelion greens. And Jojo has been pretty chill with people since we got him. But please don't assume that all skinks are the same way. Most of them are great, but it might take some amount of time to get used to you before your lizard can be handled as easily as JoJo does. Although this isn't uncommon for animals in general. Wiley was a shelter dog, and it took some time for her to get used to me. Alright, let's say you watched this and you're thinking about getting one of these lizards for yourself. Where do you find one? Well, you probably can't go to a regular pet store. Most of them are not going to have blue-tongued skinks. Even some specialty reptile shops won't have them. You're probably going to need to find a breeder. You can do this via Morph Market. This is a website where you can buy and sell reptiles. It's pretty useful if you need to find something specific and rare, and you can find some breeders that are probably close to you, which you should always do when getting a lizard. Poaching one from the wild is bad for the environment, also illegal in the case of Australian lizards. Plus, a lizard that has been handled by people since they were hatched is much more likely to be friendly to people. Another great place to get a reptile is a reptile convention. Here in California, we have the Reptile Super Show, which happens a couple times a year. There's one in Anaheim and one in Pomona. I went to the one in Pomona last year and it was awesome. They had so many lizards and all the equipment you could possibly need to get started. You can go in and leave with everything you need for a reptile. My friend did that with this cute crested gecko. I plan to go to the show next time around, so hopefully I'll see you there. One thing I have not talked about in this video is specifics, like how big of a tank you need, the temperature, type of substrate, and more. I don't have all of that here because your skink might need something slightly different than mine. Again, mine is a Northern Australian, but there are different locales. And the Indonesian ones are also slightly different and require slightly different things. This is not an all-encompassing guide, and I would highly recommend looking up these things for whatever specific subspecies you're looking for and understand that those numbers are what you need, which might be different than mine. I'll say this is the substrate I use. A mix of these two is really great personally, but again, you can do different things and other lizards might require different stuff. If you can't tell, I love lizards so much. I think they are tremendously underrated pets, and the blue-tongued skink specifically is one of the best lizards out there. You don't need to deal with live insects, they are fairly self-reliant and super friendly. Plus, their popularity has grown and the price of getting one has come down quite a bit. At the last reptile show I saw, skinks were going for way less than what I got JoJo for. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. At the very least, hopefully you got a kick out of watching JoJo walk around and do stuff. I absolutely love this little goober. He's so fun. He's such a cutie pie. And everyone who comes over just wants to like see him, and then he comes up to the tank and wants some back scratches. It's so cute. He's so precious. Hopefully this has inspired you to maybe look into getting a reptile, maybe a blue-tongued skink. If so, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it.